For me, the first thing is to be sympathetic towards. But that's to me.
Sympathetic.
Exactly. To be sympathetic towards your staff because.
No comments. Yes. Hello Malaysia, hello world. Apa khabar? Today's topic is WFH Functional, or short for work from home, as so commonly spoken and practiced around the world. I'm Rajesh Shahrul, your host. Is working from home is here to stay? Are employees getting their work done, or has productivity taken a nosedive? And why are some companies thriving with remote work while others are struggling to adapt? I say no more. Let's hear from my guests for today's program. Hello Aida. Hello Kenny.
Hi.
Welcome back to ECM Talk.
Thank you.
It's good to see you both again in our
Good to
program.
see you too.
Good. There'll be more of you. Yes, we'll talk about that separately.
Okay, sure.
So apa khabar, both of you?
Alhamdulillah, it's good. I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll start with you, Aida. When we talk about WFH, short for work from home, which is commonly used by everyone all over the world.
Yep.
True.
People have been relating this new culture with poor productivity. What's your take on this?
Okay. Okay. If we were to talk about the nation per se in Malaysia,
Yeah.
true, there are a lot more comments saying that they are not able to work from home. There are so many distractions. There's so many hiccups. I think personally, for me, I mean, we talk about this with each other for many times when we have the first MCO and then the second one.
Correct.
I think it's good if we can, all of us, regardless whether you are a staff or you are a boss in a company, to cut each other's slack in this kind of situation, because it's a new norm. You can't work from home is not, or this term WFH is not a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has to do this, and whether you want it or you don't want it, you have to. And
It's
we
like
have,
take it or leave it.
exactly. So, and it needs us. It's only fair if we can give everybody time to learn new norms and new system. I think there are certain companies that have always been using this kind of system. They're okay. They're not having any issues because they have been doing this.
Yeah.
So, for an example, I was from one university that has always been incorporating online system in our work. So for them, it's like, okay, we'll just continue, we'll just double up whatever that we have been using so far. So they have no issue. But for those companies that has always been using a little bit more non-online platforms or a little bit more traditional kind of system, you would have issues, definitely. So when that happens, you have to have, you have to give your staff, even the bosses, give each other's time to learn a new culture or to adapt to a new norm. That's how I see it. Whether it's poor productivity or not, for me, work from home is the toughest thing about work from home is it's on you, on that particular person.
On the person itself.
Yes. Whether you are going to be productive or not, it's about you. Although, of course, the challenges will always be there, definitely. But whether you want to make it productive or not, that's on that particular person, himself or herself.
It's not the overall scenario.
No.
Correct.
It's you.
Exactly.
Accepting it or otherwise.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Kenny, what do you think?
I think I do agree with what Aida was sharing just now, and then just add up a little bit. There are certain countries where work from home was not a new thing for them. They've been trying as settings for their employees to actually work from home, or even like having half days that they can allow to work from home. That kind of flexibility.
It has been practiced before.
It has been practiced, and in fact, there are certain research who actually conducted, in other countries like United States. They are seeing, in the first few months when they have the lockdown, the performance, the productivity basically increases. In that sense, because they've been doing some trial in terms of setting up the work from home kind of systems. So for the employee, it wasn't something that new for them. So where else, I think for Malaysia probably it is something new for us because we are so used to going back to office, things are all in the office. So that would be a challenge, I guess, for Malaysian.
Correct. When you mentioned about people out there like in the US, they do surveys. Right? They do surveys to check on the acceptance of this new normal in this environment. That's how it is. Now, Aida, how do you think we can overcome this negative perception about this so-called poor productivity?
Okay. A lot of times, for me personally, maybe because it's coming from where our field is, I think the motivation is very, very important. When you're working from home, here's the thing. Your home is a place where you are you. I mean, and it's not the you in your house and the you in office, they're different. So each one of us, we have different masks, right? So we put on certain mask in the office, and then we put on certain mask in our home. So, and now we have to incorporate those masks in one place. So it's very, very stressful in that sense. And on top of that, that is already stressful. And on top of that, you have your maybe your bosses who's not really helpful towards you, and they started to ask, where are you? You're supposed to be in front of your laptop, yada yada yada, and all that. So it makes you already be in a negative state. So because you're stressed, and then there are a lot of how do I say this? Other stress source coming from the environment, so it can only make you a little bit more stressor, as in like you're becoming more stressed because of that. And when that happens, how do I say this? It's almost inevitable for you to be negative, in that sense. But I believe if we were to be a little bit kinder to everybody and to us, to ourselves, at the very least we give our time, certain time for us to learn whatever the new system is, and then the bosses as well, be a bit more sympathetic towards the staff. It could somehow or rather be a bit better, and that's how I see it.
I mean, that's what you have said, Aida. It's just not about us learning to adapt to the new environment of the WFH, but those on the other side, i.e. the employer themselves, must understand us. Must understand to understand.
Correct. Work from home is not something that is affecting just the staff. It's affecting their whole nation. And it's affecting every industry on top of that. Regardless, you can talk about students or school children or even these business industries. Everybody's affected. And like I said in the earlier form, it's not something that we can choose. So you have to face it head on. And when that happens, I think it will be very, 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 very good. And it will be nicer if everybody can be a bit more kinder to each other. That's how I see it. That somehow rather could could amplify positivity in this kind of situation. That's how I see it.
I think, like what you're saying, just being kind to everybody, because it was something that we are not prepared. Not only as an employee, but employer, they also having worried about how they're going to manage the company. The rules and regulations have to change. They have to relook into how they're going to operate, and even the system.
The system, correct.
So I guess we just have to be kind with each other. We have to give some times and space for the employee to actually work out certain things that it can help the employee. And in the same time, I guess it's like two ways. The employee also have to give some times for the like the employees to actually take some time to rearrange their setting at home, because it's a new environment. Like what Miss Aida sharing, it's like you are wearing different masks. Like how you decorate your house, or you set up your house, it was designed to be warm and you can feel comfortable. It was not meant to be a working place. So you need to give employees some times and even some compensations for them to set up, because of all this internet was not cater for work settings in that sense.
Do you think the employers, I'm talking about in Malaysia's context, do you think the employers are opening up to understand all these so-called challenges that the employees are going through with the WFH situation?
That is a very tricky question.
Exactly. Because you both mentioned about being kinder.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Now, how kind is being? How kind can one be?
I guess to a certain extent, I guess the company or the organizations, some organizations, they are trying really best, to work and to cooperate and to compensate, giving whatever they can at that moment to the employee, and in that sense. So I guess there are certain organizations or company that I heard from. I was not working in the organization, but I heard it from my friends, that they are giving some allowance, certain allowance for them to set up, because they are using their own facility at homes. So I think that is
one of the ways to be kind.
To show the kindness.
In a way, opening up and understanding.
Correct.
The challenges that the employees are facing.
The appreciations from the organization.
Yes. And I would just add up to that, those kind of actions would definitely boost up your staff's motivation.
Exactly.
You have nothing to lose in this kind of situation. As in, it's everybody has this learning curve, right?
Yeah.
So this is our time to learn new norms, new lifestyle, and it's not easy. I mean, I can just ask anyone who is working from home for maybe a year, for an example. It's not easy for you to just wake up from your bed and then having one mask, and then you get to see your laptop the next to you, and then have to wear another hats or another mask. That's not easy, and it's not because it's pandemic, right? So personally for me, it's not healthy because you don't have those. We always call it as buffer time.
Yeah, buffer time.
So we don't have those buffer time. You are someone, say in on your bed, you are you, the kind of person that you only share with just you. And then when you wake up, and then you have to sit in front of your laptop, and then you have to wear someone or a different you. You don't have that much of a buffer time between that you and the different you.
Correct.
So it's not easy. So for us, maybe one of the ways to be kind to staff is like that. You give certain allowances to your staff so that they can be boosted up as well.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
So it takes both sides.
Exactly.
Correct.
To understand and complement the situation.
True.
So at the end of the day, is you want to have a productive result.
Exactly.
True.
To the organization and to yourself. That's what it is.
True.
Okay. Now, Aida, do you think this WFH will weaken the company's culture?
Wow, okay. it has a lot to do with...
I'm probing more and more.
It has a lot to do with whatever culture that they're having. Okay, in terms of, if we were to talk about teamwork, if we were to talk about motivation, for an example, somehow or other it would definitely be affected. Definitely.
With your co-workers and everything,
exactly. And we are human beings, whether we like it or not. We need those physical interaction at time, to
because you're used to it.
Exactly, the connection. So, in terms of that, if we're talking about that kind of company's cultures and like teamwork or communication, for an example, it would definitely be affected in a way or two.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's about us embracing, embracing the fact that we have to do this. So we have to find ways so that it is not affected to the extent where it becomes so bad, something like that. So that's how I see it.
So I do agree with that. If you are saying cultural wise, I see it as a living things. Like culture is a living things. When you have new people coming in, they bring in their own culture. So it creates changes in terms of the organization, how the culture works.
Right.
So when work from home, these systems or concept coming into it, I guess it will have a switch of it, like a changes. So I guess it's more about adaptability to the new culture per se. So I guess like what Miss Aida was saying, we are all humans, and then we were so used to having these connections with each other. The colleague, even you're working, you have a split second that you can talk to people to actually get a little bit, communications. But when you're working at home, you lose that. You are not having that. Only when you have meetings, then you create the teams, and then you're having communication with each other, or else you will be alone. So I guess loneliness and that is the one that probably affecting the productivity. I would say, instead of work from home.
Right. Now, do you think there are other ways that the employer can
helped out with this so-called culture challenges?
Okay. I'm not really sure on what because every company has its own culture, right?
Exactly.
Just like what Ken is saying, culture is something like a living thing, because it doesn't stand just like that.
Right.
Every culture has its own, ups and downs. It has its own changes.
Correct.
So I think it goes the same way. It's just a matter for us to learn a new culture and then try to adjust ourselves with this new culture. So maybe what can the higher management or the employers do is, for me, the first thing is to be sympathetic towards. But that's to me.
Sympathetic.
Exactly. To be sympathetic towards your staff, because
no comments. Yes.
no, because you want them to work for you, right? And you want a productive work. And on top of that, so try to be a bit more sympathetic, especially those people who are with families, with children. So on top of that, for an example, they have the children to be taken care of, and
of course,
they also have the task that needs to be done. So maybe I used to say this to Kenny lah. I used to say things like, "It's okay, just cut some slacks." I used to say things like that, because we are adapting. Once we are habituated to this kind of situation, then those slacks are not needed.
Correct.
So it's just during the first curve of this learning curve, and I just think that the staff should cut some slacks to the employers, and employers should be doing the same thing.
Yeah. I guess organization can do something like a little bit in terms of flexibility, because we are losing that times of switching, when we are working at home, everything is there, and then we've been locked in a sadly to say, it sounds like a cell that everything you done, your work, your sports, whatever is in that particular space. So I guess in terms of flexibility, probably they can give some leeway. So as long as the task that has been given is get it done by the day.
It's completed.
Exactly.
And re-look into how define or how they manage on productivity. At the past, probably we are so used to work task kind of what time you have to do this and that. In terms of that, probably they have to re-look into how productivity, probably measuring on results based instead of time based.
Correct.
That's true.
Ida, what makes WFH functional?
Okay, I think we mentioned about this a lot of times.
You can share some tips, from your working from home experience, how you have gone through it. Yes.
For me personally, one of the most important thing in working from home, as in like you have to have your office set up somewhere in your house. I mean, like, try your best not to make your office very close to your bed, for an example, because you
tell me about it.
I mean, I understand, but if you can, like, try to be a bit further, maybe 4 or 5 steps further from your bed, for an example. Okay, so create like some sort of an office, home office in your house, so that you have certain places where you have to give yourselves those buffer time. So when you are in this
That's
particular,
what you were saying about buffer time.
When you are in this particular setting, you are you as the CEO, for an example. Okay, and then when you have stepped out from that setting, then you are you as a son, a daughter, or a mother, or a father, something like that. So it gives good notion to you as well, so that you can change hats or change masks at that particular time. That's to me lah.
I think I do agree with that. Just add up a little bit, because when you are having a corner for that, it's not only physically but you psychologically know that you are preparing yourself to actually go to that like a working mode kind of things. So it's better if you have a corner or a space that you can set it up, and then with all the equipments that you need.
But there are some people who works from their jacuzzi or from from their swimming pool, coming down from their condominium and sitting in the jacuzzi and getting their work done.
I guess that is where it comes back to productivity. So that is if the organization can give that flexibility, and what in the end of the day is the outcome that you wanted. So as
the end result.
Correct.
So you have to re-look into how productivity being defined, and how would you like to manage your employees in that sense.
Good.
And on top of that, I would like to just add, it's good if we can be kind to ourselves as well.
Correct.
In this kind of situation, you have to be kind to yourself. You don't know to do a thing, for an example, because it's something that is new to you. I don't know how to use this system, for example. Be kind to yourself. It's okay because everybody's learning. So it's fine in that sense. You don't know, we learn. A lot of us tend to be a bit more stressed because our job are stuck because of system. There are a lot of moments like that, and because of that, we started to have this kind of situation where, if only I'm in the office, this will be done in the next minute, for an example, right? But that's not a choice. I mean, we have to be in our home in that sense. So be kind to yourself. You don't have to be too critical towards yourself. And we understand that you might be with the best kind of person when you are at work, for an example, and you don't have the same amount of productivity when you are at home. But it's a learning time, and it's an adjusting time towards everybody. So be kind to you. Something like that. So it's okay.
Good point.
I agree.
All right. Okay, thank you, Aida.
No problem.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kenny.
Thank you.
For your sharing and for your insights on the topic.
No problem.
I'm sure we'll meet again on another topic. We'll share that later.
Okay, sure.
We have spoken at length about the benefits of working from home, how the COVID-19 crisis have changed the typical work from home experience. The data from her latest project on the work from home experience survey conducted by the WFH Trends Guru, Ms. Kate Lister from the United States, have shown that about half of the people that are working from home have not done it before. So there's a lot of floundering around in the deep end while people get used to the technology and the protocols that support remote work. Having said that, the survey has shown people are resilient, they are just adjusting quickly, and technology is not anymore of a problem than it was in the office. Once again, thank you very much, Ms. Aida Muhammad and Mr. Kenny Ng, for being in our program today. We'll definitely see you both again soon. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Edu Channel Malaysia. Learning curve is a never-ending journey. Until we meet again in our next program, take care and stay healthy, everyone. Jumpa lagi.